Greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living, loving life. I want to thank everybody for joining me, of course. And while we're at it, make sure to hit them like, share, and subscribe buttons. And if you're on Hecklebus, get over to El Perro and do the same. And if you're on El Perro, get over to Hecklebus. Hit them like, share, and subscribe buttons. There's PayPal buttons down in the details section for anybody that wants to share some love. If those that have PayPal, use the top link. If you don't have PayPal, use the bottom link. And of course, make sure you use friends and family. Okay, and the link of to join the panel, of course, is pinned to the top. So feel free to join. And we're going to work tonight, starting back at the beginning, as it relates to the birth certificate, that prenatal record, all of that stuff was the development of a personal record that was supposedly capable of reaching a corporate status, organized and able to conduct all commercial affairs. But that's it, commercial affairs. That's why it's personal. And it all starts, of course, with that prenatal record and Social Security and all that, as we know. So anybody, again, that wants to join, please hit that link at the top. And No Mercy Sheep is saying, record of event. And that's all it is. It's a record of an event. And the record of that event is put into that commercial system as if though that event continues, particularly when that young being reaches the age of majority, age of 18 or so, and signs up for Social Security. Now they're going to continue their record, and they're the ones putting all the data elements into it. And that's the only thing it's doing. So you quit putting the data elements in there, and it quits operating that way. 7 years ago, I quit putting all those data elements in. Guess what? Now, I'm not going to say that's going to work for everybody, because everybody else is going to be driving around, has bank accounts, sending their kids to school, paying taxes. I don't do those things. So let's take a look at this. Under 42 U.S. Code 9102. Is a set of definitions, and it says, as used in this chapter, and it doesn't matter what chapter, it's part of Title 42, Social Security, so it is included in anybody involved in Social Security, whether it be Medicare or Medicaid. It's a set of definitions. As used in this chapter, unless the context otherwise requires, the term adjacent coastal state means any coastal state which is required to be designated as such by Section 9115A1 of this title, or is designated as such by the administrator in accordance with Section 9115A- or A2 of this title. Well, let's take a look at these terms right here. Do you know what adjacent means? That's adjoining. So it's a joinder. Take a look at Rule 19 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. Rule 19. Adjacent and adjoiner, coastal state. Now, most people would take this term right here, coastal, and think it has to do with boundary waters. And you would be correct. But because it's boundary waters, conducted by or regulated through the Coast Guard, Coast Guard, which regulates all inland laws. So how is that? This term right here, what is CO? Is there a different way to separate this word? Instead of coast and then AL, can you separate it here and CO as in with, like a co-worker you work with? So, and then what is ASTL? What is ASTL? Anybody ever asked that question? Has anybody ever looked at things from a different perspective? Dominance, command, rule, control, seize, meaning of ASTL in English. Etymology, borrowed from Hungarian ASTL, itself derived from Proto-Slavic, the slave language itself. Thus, a doublet. Oh, does that sound like duality? So, coastal in duality, literally meaning kind of like standby, as we talked before. So it's co-astal. It's a rule with. A rule with what? A rule with something adjoining. What is it that's adjoining? Is there a greater truth that adjoins the coastal state? I'm only asking questions, but it's because of these definitions I do those. I do ask those questions. 42, 9102. So let's go on to the next thing. As we see down here, it says, it tells us what the administrator means, the administrator of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Oops, excuse me. Get on the right page here. So adjacent, then it talks about these two, and then it says administrator. Administrator means the administrator of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Who regulates that? Would that be the Navy? I mean, it is oceanic, right? Well, what Navy? Well, it would be all navies around the world. They regulate the oceanic waters in trust under the UN. 194 nations, at least. Those 194 nations' navies. Does that sound like the one world military? You think there's a monopoly on military? It's all administration. That's all it is. Antitrust laws. Now, why would they be mentioning antitrust laws? Because, like I said, it's all in trust. Includes the Act of July 2nd, 1890. As amended by 15 U.S.C. 1, which I've spoken of before, at sequential and others. So it's saying 15 U.S.C. 1 and the rest of that title. The Act of October 15th, 1914, as amended, 15 U.S.C. 12 at sequential, and Section 73 and 74 of the Act of August 27th, 1894, as amended, 15 U.S.C. 8 and 9. 15 U.S.C. 1, trusts, etc. In restraint of trade, illegal penalty. Every contract, combination in form of trust or otherwise, or conspiracy in restraint of trade or commerce. Trade or commerce among the several states or with foreign nations is declared to be illegal. Anything that would restrain it, anything, singularly or combination in the form of trust. Everything that goes through that mail is in the combination of a trust. Look at that address. Every person who shall make any contract or engage in any combination or conspiracy hereby declared to be illegal shall be deemed guilty of a felony, and on conviction thereof shall be punished by fine not exceeding $100 million if a corporation, or if any other person, $1 million, or by imprisonment not exceeding 10 years, or both, or by both said punishments in the discretion of the court. The next one, 15 U.S.C. 12, definition, short title, antitrust laws as used herein includes the act entitled an act to protect trade and commerce against unlawful restraints and monopolies. Monopolies. Who has a monopoly? You might think it's Postal Service, but you have an option. It's called a diplomatic post. In a greater trust with greater truth. Approved July 2nd, 1890, Section 73 to 76, inclusive of an act entitled an act to reduce taxation to provide revenue for the government and for other purposes. Of August 27th, 1894, an act entitled an act to amend sections 73 and 76 of the Act of August 27, 1894, entitled an act to reduce taxation to provide revenue for the government and for other purposes. Those other purposes you have to define. And just like the co-astal, it's like co-mission. You're on the same mission. So you're sharing the same trade and commerce, but you're supposed to do so freely as an act to reduce taxation. So ask the Postal Service about the Tax Protection Act or Tax Protection Agreement. You know, you can put that in any contract, Tax Protection Agreement. Commerce as used herein means trade or commerce among the several states and with foreign nations, or between the District of Columbia or any territory of the United States and any state, territory, or foreign nation. The development of that paperwork is supposedly the creation of a nationality. However, the birth certificate is not evidence of a nationality. It comes from the state. Or between any insular possessions or other places under the jurisdiction of the United States. And like I said, the United States has no birth registration. There is no birth registry. Or between any such possession or place in any state or territory of the United States or the District of Columbia or any foreign nation, or within the District of Columbia or any territory or insular possession or other place under the jurisdiction of the United States. All of those records are places. They're placed. They're put there. Is this connecting? Did you watch yesterday's video? The prior videos? This should all be putting things in place for you under the jurisdiction of the United States. Provided, which means the same thing as granted, that nothing in this act contained shall apply to the Philippine Islands. The word person or persons, wherever used in this act, shall be deemed to include corporations and associations existing under or authorized by the laws of either the United States, the laws of any of the territories, the laws of any state, or the laws of any foreign country. The laws of any state don't apply to foreign country. As opposed to foreign nation. Rural means foreign country. Rural money order transaction application. The laws of this foreign country are the scriptures of the 1611 version of the King James Bible, wherein under federal rules of evidence, Rule 803, the exception to the rules of hearsay, subsection 2, excited utterances. So I say hallelujah for rule number 16 or section number 16 that declares ancient documents, which would include ancient scriptures as one of those exceptions. So hallelujah for the 1611 version of the King James Bible, which is where they get their laws. This act may be cited as a Clayton Act, and then it gives you all the different public laws. Okay? The next one, 15 U.S.C. 8, trusts in restraint of import trade illegal penalty. Every combination. We already read that, didn't we? No? This is a different one. Okay, so every combination, conspiracy, trust, agreement, or contract is declared to be contrary to public policy, illegal, and void when the same is made between or by or between two or more persons or corporations, either of whom, as agent or principal, is engaged in importing any article from any foreign country into the United States. Show me where the United States is, folks. Anybody? Now, we know where Washington, D.C. is as defined by that 10 square mile. Show me in Washington, D.C., where is the United States? You can show me the United States Capitol. You can show me a lot of United States buildings, but you can't show me the United States except by its title and charter. It's paperwork. That's all it is. The United States is paperwork. And your personal services are leased to provide that paperwork. If you're going to work with paper, make sure you put the value into it. Shew thyself worthy and approved. And when such combination, conspiracy, trust, agreement, or contract is intended to operate in restraint of lawful trade or free competition in lawful trade or commerce, or to increase the market price in any part of the United States of any article or articles imported or intended to be imported into the United States, such as furniture, silver, gold, automobiles, things like that, or any other manufacturer into which such imported article enters or is entered into error. So that prenatal record entered into the United States prove that it was entered into the United States. Otherwise, any other record proves that it was entered into error, for it was intended to be imported into the United States in order to acquire the United States citizenship. Every person who shall be engaged in the importation of goods or any commodity from any foreign country in violation of this section, or who shall combine or conspire with another to violate the same, is guilty of a misdemeanor, and on conviction thereof, in any court of the United States, such person shall be fined in a sum not less than $100 and not exceeding $5,000, and shall be further punished by imprisonment in the discretion of the court for a term not less than 3 months nor exceeding 12 months. You see how they turned that around and lowered those terms and everything? In the discretion of the court was the last thing said before. Now it's one of the first. Language is important, folks. Perspective is important. Direction of which you are looking from and going is important. So the next one is 15 U.S.C. 9. So we just hit the next, and it says jurisdiction of courts. So, duty of United States attorneys. Procedure. Proceed. Did the state cede jurisdiction? And there is record of that? And it is valid and certified by both the United States and the states by having equal constitutions? Did I cede? Did you cede? Did he cede? Did he cede? Do you want to cede? The several district courts of the United States are invested with jurisdiction to prevent and restrain violations of Section 8 of this title. And it shall be the duty of the several United States attorneys in their respective districts, under the direction of any of the Attorney General, to institute proceedings in equity to prevent and restrain such violations. Such proceedings may be by way, standby, adjacent, astal, of petitions setting forth the case and praying that such violations shall be enjoined or otherwise prohibited. You ever seen anywhere else where they use the term praying? You pray, I pray. I pray, you pray. What do you pray upon? Do you pray upon the people? Do you pray upon another man? Or is the Lord's Prayer? See, that's the original peace agreement, folks. Said that many times. That's what constitutes me. I fear no evil. Fear nothing. For I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. There is no greater expression of trust. So let's get back to it. When the parties complained of shall have been duly notified of such petition, the court shall proceed as soon as may be to the hearing and determination of the case. To the hearing and determination of the case. Now you're paying attention to this video, and there's going to be a video coming along in the future where we're going to talk about the hearing. It's going to be one of the later videos. And it has to do with the merits that I've spoken on. Spirits in etymology is spiritual credits. This is what the military goes by, merits and demerits. You achieve ranks, you get merits. You lose rank, it's because you got demerits. You get those merits and demerits by attending what's called the captain's mast. He is the one that mans the post. He is the post master. And pending such petition and before final decree, the court may at any time make such temporary restraining order or prohibition as shall be deemed just in the premises. Pre-mises. Mises literally means bet. Pre-bet. Just like a promise. a pro bet, future bet, past bet, prior, pre, pro, future. Mises, bet. Now I'm betting that promise that you gave the bank in exchange for the premise didn't do you a fucking bit of good. Excuse my language. I believe that's a violation of these. This is all simple stuff, folks. I don't know why it seems to take so much for people to comprehend this, particularly the people at the top that are supposed to comprehend this. It's disturbing when it comes to competency. And so it was my somewhat astonishment when I looked at this code, 5 CFR 575.102. That too is a set of definitions. Those definitions include federal government means all entities of the government of the United States, including the United States Postal Service, quote, the registered agent, unquote, and the Postal Regulatory Commission. And when I looked at that code again here recently and started at the top and really looked at it, I saw the term competencies. And it's a really, really short definition. Administrative personnel, Office of Personnel Management, Civil Service Regulations, recruitment. Did you know recruitment happened at that prenatal record? That's why it's a natal record. And it was established at a naval hospital inland, who also has its own post. Relocation, as it relates to coastal, and retention incentives, as it relates to the local record keeping and getting paid for them. Supervisory differentials, for the variances from categorical pretreatment standards that are fundamentally different in nature. And extended assignment incentives, meaning that whoever's taken upon that assignment is the trustee as assigned by the grantee, proving that there might be a conspiracy between the two, as we noticed in those Clayton antitrust laws and things in there. So let's start out with number one, agency. Means an executive agency or a legislative branch agency included 5 USC 5102A1. Authorized agency official means the head of an agency or an official who is authorized to act for the head of the agency in the matter concerned. And that would be the matter of the persons that are subjecting themselves to that official or agent. As a resident, no person shall reside within the zone except federal, state, or municipal officers or agents whose resident presence is deemed necessary by the board. Competencies means the knowledge, skills, abilities, behaviors, and other characteristics, personalities, and individual as it relates to 5 USC 551 or 552A individual records, needs to perform the duties of a position where they have been placed or displaced, dispositioned, or deposited. Let's look at the next one. "32 CFR 1602.4 area office." Area office. And it happens to be under Title 32, which is national defense. Other regulations relating to national defense. Selective service system, gentlemen. Part 1602, definitions. So this is literally a definition of the area office. The Selective Service Office, which is responsible for all administrative and operational support for the one or more local boards within its jurisdiction. The United States Postal Service, as 5 CFR 1 or 575.102 states, federal government means all entities of the government of the United States. The United States, quote, unquote, is under 28 USC 3002, subsection A, departments and agencies of a corporation and not a government. So it is the government of the United States. All entities of the government of the United States, including the United States Postal Service and the Postal Regulatory Commission. That means the Postal Regulatory Commission and the United States Postal Service are the government of the United States. That is the federal government. It is the judicial office. The United States holds executive, legislative, and administrative offices, and the states ceded their jurisdiction to that corporate structure. The structure you have before you has a grantee and a trustee. The Postal Regulatory Commission is that of the Universal Postal Union, commissioning the United States Postal Service as a registered agent to use its services and products. The Postal Union, through the Post Office, holds the trademark for its literary artistic documentation known as the Constitution of the Universal Postal Union. That is the ultimate international trust. And every person is supposed to be a beneficiary, but is being treated as an agent because of the residential placement prenatal record establishing that a resident is born. That's why the birth registration is kept at the state and declares that if they are a resident because they were born unto people claiming to be residents. So if you're two monkeys, you're going to have monkeys, right? If you're two residents claiming to be residents, you're going to have residents. It's reason and logic. Break the mommy and daddy spell. Anyway. Sometimes you got to admonish them brain farts by laying off the weed. So anyway, hey, I appreciate everybody showing up. Please hit that share, like, and subscribe button. Get this stuff out there. And remember, I love you, but I don't give a fuck whether you love me back or not. God bless, and we'll see you again next time.